Of all the car-centered shows aired in the last 2 decades, it's undeniable that Fast and Loud was one of the most popular and successful. Throughout 16 seasons, the staff of Gas Monkey Garage and its owner Richard Rawlings did a good job of not only delivering some of the most amazing car renovations ever shown on TV, but also earning the recognition of auto lovers all around the world. While the success of Fast and Loud could be proven either by its high audience ratings or the premieres of 2 spin-offs, those achievements weren't enough to prevent the very talented main builder, Aaron Kaufman, from leaving the show and shop altogether in 2016. Even to this day, Kaufman's resignation still haunts Fast and Loud fans no end, especially given all the rumors surrounding his broken work relationship with Rawlings. So what happened between Aaron Kaufman and Richard Rawlings? And is their friendship in place after all? Stay here to know it all. In late 2016, Aaron chose to leave Gas Monkey Garage after years of hard work and countless stunning car builds. That decision didn't become known by the Fast and Loud audience until 2017, when Aaron's in front of cameras resignation in the 10th season marks not only his last appearance in the show, but also the last time we saw him and Richard together. While it's true that we haven't seen Aaron and Richard hanging out since said event took place, that doesn't mean there's bad blood between them, but that they simply don't have anything linking each other nowadays. Their professional and personal splitting of ways was most certainly the natural conclusion of a years-long relationship in which they didn't always see eye to eye. It's not that we have an unfriendly rapport. We do, or did do. We just don't have much of one these days, were Aaron's words when asked about it by D Magazine in 2018. In the same interview, but in a different setting, Richard answered the frequently asked question about his friendship with Aaron. Everybody thought we were these buddies and everything, and actually he was just my employee from the time he was 20 until 2 years ago, he said, denying once and for all the misconception about him being best friends with Aaron. Richard and Aaron worked together for 13 years, but they had known each other for a while before joining forces as a work team. That started in the early 2000s, when Aaron had already worked in a handful of bodybuilding and repair shops in his native Fort Worth, Texas. Richard had commissioned the shop Aaron worked at to fix a car he had recently bought in California. As described by Aaron in an interview with Driving Line, the work was rough but was eventually completed. Aaron's work most likely left an impression on Richard, who contacted him after some time to fix a Mustang Fastback, most likely testing the waters before phoning him again to offer him a spot on the show he was trying to get picked up by TV. To spread the word about the then newly established Gas Monkey Garage, Aaron and Richard attended car shows and races all over the country while planning the TV show. Unfortunately, the business slowed down at some point, and they split ways for the first time in 2009, with Aaron going back to his old car building ways while Richard planned his next big step. Little did they know back then how life would soon be turned upside down. Despite the seemingly initial failure of Gas Monkey Garage as a business, Richard Rawlings wasn't looking for opportunities to have his TV show. The right time came around in 2011, when he came up with the idea of making a sizzle reel, and was quick to invite an unconvinced Aaron to join him for the second time. I figured if we were filming for 2 days, they were going to buy my lunch for 2 days. So, for 2 free lunches, I showed up, as Aaron told Driving Line in early 2016. Despite having little to no faith in the show, the miracle happened, as Discovery's producer Greg Kaufman loved the sizzle reel and subsequently made it a reality. In June 2012, Fast and Loud became a reality, but besides the amazing builds done at incredibly high speeds, audiences were attracted by the half-serious, half-comedic dynamic between Aaron and Richard, who stuck well together despite their evident differences in personality and style. All of these aspects ensured the show's renewal for seasons to come. Things at Gas Monkey Garage were going well for quite some time, at least from the viewer's perception. Not only was Fast and Loud a highly rated show, but it also became internationally known and spawned a couple of spin-offs and collaborations with other big names in the industry, such as American Chopper stars. However, things were different when cameras were off, and Aaron himself can well attest to that. His leaving the show and Richard's business altogether was a combination of his desire to take an independent route and his unconformity with the tight work schedules demanded by the TV show. The build featured in the episode Hot Off the Pantera was the last straw for him. That was the rub, the crossroads there. I wanted to build cars that were that big or bigger, and then TV needed cars that were much smaller than that, he explained in an interview with Art of Gears in 2017, in which he also mentioned personal issues and professional differences of opinion in the workplace encouraged him to leave. Whether those issues were directly or indirectly related to Richard was left to the imagination, but certainly Aaron was feeling out of place in Gas Monkey Garage. Given how important Aaron was for Fast and Loud, there could have been a variety of negative outcomes for the show following his exit. However, Richard Rawlings is a man who doesn't let difficulties get in the way of his goals, and that wasn't going to change even in the midst of his main builder and co-star leaving. Even though Aaron's absence most likely discouraged his most loyal fans from still watching the show, that didn't mean the end of Fast and Loud, as another 6 seasons premiered after his leaving. Likewise, fans of the show observed the change in dynamics and incorporation of new cast members, but the focus remained on Richard, his drive for success, and cool cars. As he confirmed in a 2008 interview with D Magazine, the business and himself were in good place, despite it all. We're building better cars than we've ever built before, and my shop floor is the most sane, awesome place that I've ever seen. And life is a million times better, he said. Regardless of the success of Fast and Loud, it came to an end in 2020, with Richard saying that he'd achieved everything he'd wanted to with the show. Given all the issues Aaron had during his time in Fast and Loud, it's unsurprising that he was reluctant to star in other TV shows. As he opened up during the Art of Gears interview in 2017, the possibility of returning to reality TV hadn't been dismissed yet, but wasn't a certainty either. If we go back to building cars on TV, it would be based on the premise fun with cars, he said, affirming he wanted to build cars out of imagination for people who wanted to drive them, not for business. Aaron's next step in the game was founding ArcLight Fabrication, his Fort Worth-based auto shop focused on F-150 parts and builds. The business eventually expanded to other niches as well, but retained its focus on trucks. Aaron's wish of having a show fitting his work standards and taste became a reality, with Shifting Gears with Aaron Kaufman, his show which premiered in 2018 and ran for 2 seasons on air. His second show, Aaron Needs a Job, premiered in 2019 and centered on his trips exploring the auto trade industry around the country. Despite the end of Fast and Loud in 2020, Richard Rawlings kept his business up and running just fine. Besides joining a wide variety of automotive events such as races, auctions, and exhibitions, Richard and his current staff at Gas Monkey Garage are now in the content creation industry. Their online content goes from short videos to contests and picks detailing the process of their builds on Facebook, to a detailed long video series on YouTube. For his part, Aaron has been away from ArcLight Fabrication for quite some time to focus on other projects. While it's unclear if the business still exists, and its social media profiles have been inactive for a couple years, in February 2023, he confirmed on Instagram to having moved out of his native Texas to Colorado, where he's pursuing a career in motorsports. All in all, it's clear that Aaron and Richard not only weren't as close as people assumed, but have most likely lost any type of contact with each other. While their fans could still reminisce on their good times on TV, it's certain that their separation was for the best, coming at a time when both needed to change. Thank you for spending some time with us. Make sure to like and subscribe so you never miss another video. We also handpick these videos which we recommend you watch next. You can talk to us on all social medias or ask a question in the comments below. Thank you for being with us, and we'll see you back tomorrow.